through education. I'll introduce you to the brand builders in just a second. But what we're talking about today is how athletes can leverage a major games. So Paris, very soon. We've had Com Games. Tokyo was yesterday. Brisbane 2032 for everyone in Australia. We're very excited about that. That's far, far away. But it is, I feel, the time of year that we're starting to think about what that post-games period looks like and how athletes can leverage the games, leverage this opportunity in the way that works for them. So excited to be unpacking this topic with you today. It's jam-packed, so let's get started. Before we begin, I wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that I'm meeting on. I'm joining you from Meanjin in Brisbane, and I would like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land, the Yagara and Turrbal people. And I wish to also acknowledge and respect their continuing culture and the contribution that they make to life in the city and also to sport in Australia, and pay my respects to elders past and present. It's also Reconciliation Week, which means there's lots of great events on. It's a great time to think about how we can all contribute to reconciliation, how we can use our voice, uplift First Nation voices. So have a look if there's any events going on. I'm hoping to attend an online event today. But it's a great week to be thinking about reconciliation and thinking about reconciliation every day of the year and not just during this particular week. So we're the brand builders. We deliver athlete brand education all over the globe to athletes of all types, abilities, sports. I see a lot of familiar faces in the Zoom room today, so I'll keep this short and sweet because you probably have heard this before. But what we do is we deliver education. We are all about empowering athletes with that understanding of how to navigate this journey, how to build their brand, how to identify it, communicate it, leverage it through skills and resources and understanding, and really be in charge of their own journey, be their own agent in some ways. We also work on the other side of the table with brands and sponsors, so we have a really strong understanding of the commercial landscape as well, because we work with both athletes and brands in that commercial space, and we're able to bring those two areas that we work in together and take the knowledge that we've gained here and bring it here and vice versa. So excited to be talking to you about leveraging a major games today. If you've got any questions about us or who we are, just send me an email. But let's get into the fun stuff. Let's talk about what we're all here for today. So it is no secret that a major games is an incredible opportunity for athletes. I am certainly not revealing some unheard of bit of information by telling you that a games offers big value to athletes. There is a table absolutely bursting with opportunities for athletes to leverage after the games. Sponsorship, profile growth, social media followers. We saw that TikTok went bananas in Tokyo. I'm sure there will be some version of that again. Media career, career opportunities, business endeavors, a public speaking career, and the list goes on and on. But we know this. I know this, you know this, athletes know this. What remains a bit of a mystery is the how. How can athletes leverage a games to help them build something that matters to them? And that's what we'll unpack today. So I want to start first by talking about an assumption, you might even call it an expectation, that a lot of athletes go into the games with. It's the belief that everything will work out after the games, that their life will change, that opportunity will not only knock on their door, it will kick it wide open. It's the belief that the games are a magical portal to another life, one in which they are a media name, a sponsored athlete, a social media superstar. Now, I'm all about dreaming big. That's not what I want to talk about. By all means, have a big vision, have a ginormous vision. I think that's amazing and helpful. The problem lies with the assumption that the games themselves on their own are the magic key. That the games will do all the work and get you to the other side of your vision. It can happen and it does happen, but it happens to a small percentage of athletes, not the majority. Most athletes, even a lot of the medal winners, don't walk away from a games with their life completely changed. There's rarely a Cinderella experience. And I don't say this to sound negative or to make out like it's a tough road. It's a great experience and it can connect you with opportunity. It's just not a guarantee. So we're a year away from Paris, and many of the athletes I've met or mentored recently have hit me with some version of, oh, I'm not going to worry about that until after the games. That's when I'll get sponsored. That's when I'll have time for it. That's when I'll grow my socials. I'll pursue speaking. And it's not that these athletes are procrastinating. Athletes aren't afraid of hard work. Athletes are the hardest workers out there. But the belief that the games will do all the work is simply ingrained in athlete lore. It's a story that has been passed down throughout the generations. We've seen examples of it, but it's not the experience of the majority of athletes. Now, for other athletes, it's not the assumption that the games hold the magic key that holds them back. It's a belief that people aren't interested until they go to a games, or that the games give them some kind of unmatched credibility. They put a pause in the journey in the hopes that the games will change things, and sometimes it does, but it doesn't always. The games are one moment, a great moment, maybe the pinnacle of your sporting career, but they can neither hold you back from having a great brand and leveraging it, or from preparing you to make the most of the experience. So if the games aren't the magic key, then what is? It's not luck. Can't bet on luck. It's really nice when it works out, but I don't know about you, how many of us really consider ourselves to be lucky? The real secret formula to leveraging in major games is honestly really, really simple. It's preparation. If you're hoping for something more juicy or complicated, I'm sorry to disappoint, but preparation really is the key to having a great experience, both before, during, and after the games. So let me show you what I mean. For a moment, suspend your disbelief and pretend that I'm Kelly. I'm a sprinter preparing for my first major games. So let's track my journey. I'm 1 year out from the games. I'm excited, I'm a little bit nervous, but I know this will be a great experience for me. I want to become a sponsored athlete after the games. I'd love to travel around the world, sharing my story and getting paid for it. And I'd like to have a good social media presence and share the journey with people. I don't have dreams of being a big millionaire. I just want to be able to support my pathway. So I'm really excited for these opportunities, but I'm actually just going to put a pause on them until after the games. I've got other things to focus on. And besides, after the games is when people will be interested in me. I'll have this credibility, and the sponsors will be coming to me. That's what everyone's told me. Okay, so I'm a few months away from the games now. I'm starting to wonder if maybe I should have had a plan. There's some athletes around me that are already building platforms for themselves and doing cool things. And I want to capture games content, but I have no idea how to do that. Okay, no, there's other things to worry about. I'll focus on this once the games are over. Now I'm at the games. It's amazing. I'm loving it. But other athletes are creating content and capturing the experience and talking about future plans. And I have no idea what to post. I don't even know what the rules are. Am I allowed to post? I really haven't thought about how I want to tell this story. And now that I'm here, when I thought that I would know, when I thought that it would all just kind of come to me, I don't know what to do. But I can't worry about it right now. I've got to focus on the performance. But also in the back of my mind, I can't stop thinking about this. Okay, we're a week out from the games. I've got some new followers, but it's not really what I expected. No one approached me for sponsorship. I guess I just have to wait a little bit longer. Okay, we're 3 months out, still no sponsors. I guess I did something wrong. Well, they aren't interested. I'm not worthy. Maybe next time, maybe if I perform better. We're 6 months out, and I never really ended up posting about the games, just a few things. but I actually don't know how to tell that story. Is anyone even interested in hearing it anymore? It was so long ago now. And next time. So Kelly's experience is unfortunate, but it's not uncommon. Many athletes go into the games hoping that it will lead to big things. And when it doesn't, they're left wondering if they did something wrong. They might cement a belief that they aren't interesting enough, high profile enough, worthy enough of these opportunities. But the truth is, none of these things are true. What is true is that by not having a clear pathway for success, there's no road to navigate. How was Kelly supposed to leverage the games or take action when there was no forethought into what those activities actually looked like? So, what can athletes do to prepare? We love keeping it really simple. Athlete life is busy. Why make it more complicated? So, here's what we teach as part of our major games education. Firstly, know your brand. I know, who would have thought that the brand builders would give such advice? But it's really the core foundational piece of any brand development. And that's what this is. It's leveraging your brand by leveraging the games. So figure out what it is that makes you unique, how you want people to see you, your message, and the impact you want to create. I know if you've been to one of our webinars in the past, I've said it a million times, you have heard this, I am a broken record, but it's true because that's what you'll be communicating. And it's how you'll protect both the integrity of your brand and also the integrity of the brands you represent. But because you'll be clear on what you want people to remember about you. You'll live in the positive space instead of getting tempted to live in those gray areas. Then create a communication strategy for before, during, and after the games. Instead of leaving it up to fate, work out what content you want to capture, where you'll be communicating it, the messages you want to carry, and any rules you need to be aware of. So during the games, your focus is on performance. You don't need to worry about what content to capture. Figure this out ahead of time. You don't even need to post it during the games, but have a plan so that you don't need to worry about coming up with the ideas. Let's say that you really want to carry a message that the games are an opportunity for your team to come together, to support each other, and enjoy the experience. You also hope to inspire any kids watching that the sport is also about friendship, and that's a benefit of being an athlete. If you didn't have a communication strategy, what would most likely end up happening is you would not capture content that carries that message. You get the standard stuff on the podium with the rings or maybe a few photos, but you wouldn't have that message in mind. So how would you know to capture it? But if you do have a strategy, you'll know that during the games, your plan is to capture content about the fun you get up to with your teammates, your roommate experience and any fun things that happen as a result with them, exploring the village together, supporting each other in races and so on. So you can't 100% know what will happen in the games, but you can come in with a plan for what you know you want to capture so that you do capture it. And in that plan, you're also thinking about how you'll use that content after the games, where it will go. Do you need photos for presentations because you'd like to be speaking at schools after the games? Do you need video footage for Instagram Reels because you love social media? Many athletes think about the content they'll share during the games themselves, but don't plan for the after. Your story has longevity. It doesn't go stale. So look for the opportunities to share it long after you leave the village. And finally, be crystal clear on what you want to gain from the games. We know there are a lot of opportunities you could access, but which ones specifically interest you? Do you love speaking but hate social media? Okay, so we know which one to focus on and which one to leave for the other athletes who love it. Make sure you are planning for a post-games life that you will have fun with, that you will get value out of. Don't plan to leverage your brand in a million ways. We know that there is a smorgasbord of opportunity, and I have met athletes who say, oh my goodness, there's so much opportunity. I guess I'll just have a taste of a little bit of everything. And then they get overwhelmed and they don't commit to any of these activities because they've tried their hand at a bit of everything. They haven't actually had a focused plan. So instead, focus on those opportunities you really care about. Know the ones that you are specifically interested in. And then plan for them. What can you do now to get ready? Can you do skills training? Can you start getting better at consistently posting on social media? Can you learn how to get sponsored? Could you actually approach some sponsors and get them on board for the journey? You don't have to do everything now. You might choose just one thing. It could be just posting more regularly on social media. It might be reading a book. But there are things you can start doing and working on. So don't wait for that magic moment after the games. Start preparing now so that when you are in that post-game period, you've already got the train moving, so that after the games, you're not starting from scratch. You've already laid the road to what you want to do after the game, so that you don't feel overwhelmed that, oh my goodness, I want to be an athlete that does well on social media, but I've never really posted much of anything. Start preparing for it now. In terms of what that looks like as a timeline, in this before period, you're identifying your brand, your goals for that post-games period, and you're starting to create that comm strategy. Then you're finalizing it. You're bringing people along for the journey by sharing it on social media or writing blogs or starting a YouTube channel or however it is that you want to communicate your brand. I would say that if social media is a focus for you, make sure that you have created a social media presence that when people go and look you up during the games, because that does often happen for most athletes, if you go to some kind of games, major or minor, you will find that you'll have a bit of an uptick in followers. It might be a lot, it might be average, it might be just a few. But people will be more likely to go and search for you and try and find you online during that games period. So if I go and look up your Instagram, what will I see? Is it someone who's only got 5 posts, but has a great plan, knows, oh, in the future, I want to do lots of social media, but I'm just not going to worry about that right now? If I go and look you up during the games, I want to see at least the beginnings of what you hope to build. Give me something that I know I want to follow and engage with so that I will want to be part of this journey. And also in social media specifically, it's a great idea to share the journey of the games with people. We're not just interested in the games period itself. We want to know what that preparation period looks like. We want to cheer you on at every single stage. So get them interested before you're even at that games itself. Then you're looking at, can you gain experience? Can you practice skills? And can you find any opportunities to prepare to action or leverage your brand? It might just be one thing, but start preparing. During the games, you're focused on the games. You're capturing any content that you need to, but you're not actually coming up with the ideas. You've already got a plan for what you need to get, but you're actually focused on your performance. After, you're posting your content, you're following your comm strategy, and you're preparing to action and leverage your brand. You might decide that you need a little break after the games, that you're not actually going to start on this right away. And that's okay. You have a plan for what you know you want to do afterwards. You can put a little pause on things because you're not starting from scratch. You do have a plan. I've met a lot of athletes who feel like if they don't step out of the village and the very next day go and call up a sponsor, they've missed the opportunity, that no one will be interested afterwards. And that's not true. You do have time to work this all out after the games. But by preparing now, you are giving yourself some room to maybe relax, take some downtime, and then go out and start this journey. Or you might decide day one, I want to go out and go for it, and that's great too. Then after the games, be active, be visible, tell these stories that you created during the games. There's no expiry date. People are not sick of hearing this after 6 months. time. Keep talking about these stories. Keep leveraging the fact that you are an athlete that went to a major games. There's stories, there's lessons, there's highs, there's lows, there's challenges and opportunities that we want to hear about. I will tell you, as someone who will never go to a major games, who is not an athlete, who does not have it in her DNA, but is really interested in the athlete story, the athlete experience. I want to know everything about that games experience, before, during, after. I want to know what this journey is like. I want to know the fun facts, the people that you met, the lessons you learned. I want to know all of it, because I'll never have that experience. I know nothing about it unless you tell me about it. I know nothing about your personal experience with it unless you tell me about it. People are very curious. They're nosy. We want to know, what is the athlete experience like? Because most of us will never have it. There are also kids watching you, young adults watching you, who are hoping to make it to a games one day, who want to know everything as well, who want to be inspired and motivated by you because they hope to be like you one day. So keep telling these stories, keep being active. People will not be tired of hearing it after 3 or 6 months. So stay active well after the games, and you can do that by having a clear plan. Okay, so let's start fresh. Erase the past, time travel to a better reality. I'm Kelly. I'm about to go to my first major games, and this time I'm not leaving it in the hands of luck. I have a plan. I know how to create content and tell stories. I've got a communication strategy and a leverage plan. I know that this is up to me. A year out from the games, I'm creating my plan. I'm feeling excited about what the future holds. I'm starting to prepare for these opportunities by engaging in learning and honing my skills. And I'm even getting ready to approach my first sponsor, a local brand that I love, because I want to bring them on the journey with me. A few months out, I'm going well with my sponsor. We're developing a great relationship, and I actually feel really confident in how to be a sponsored athlete. I'm also building an engaged audience on my socials by sharing the journey leading up to the games, so they'll be ready to support me once it is games time. And I've built this awesome platform that anyone would want to follow if they actually look me up. I don't have hundreds of thousands or even tens of thousands of followers, but I've built a social media platform that really represents me and that I'm really proud of. And I even did some speaker training a few weeks ago because I know that's something I want to do after the games. Now I'm at the games, I'm focused wholly on performance, I'm not distracted by social media, and I'm capturing the content that I know I need after the games, but I'm actually focused on my sport. We're a week out from the games. I had a blast. It was awesome. I was interviewed after my race. I didn't medal, but during the interview, I talked about what the games meant to me, and I carried my message, and it resonated with people, and it got more views than I actually expected it would. I'm starting to post my content. I'm enjoying a little bit of downtime, and I know what my next moves are to leverage the game, so I can actually take a bit of a breath because I know what comes next. We're 3 months out. I've crafted my story. I'm going to speak at schools. My social media audience grew a little bit after that media interview came out, and I'm sharing some great content, and I'm actually getting ready to bring another sponsor on board, my second sponsor. We're 6 months out. My socials are still going well. I brought on board that new sponsor, and I have a few more that I'm talking to. No one ended up approaching me for sponsorship, but I knew how to go out and engage them myself. I've loved this journey. I've learned so much, and I know how to keep it going long after this games experience has ended. So did Kelly turn into a media sensation? No. Is she rolling in huge sponsorship contracts? No. But that wasn't the goal for her coming into this. It's not the reality for most athletes. It's not the goal for most athletes. Instead, she has achieved the goal she set. She's left knowing she does have value to offer, and her story is valuable and it is interesting, and she isn't left wondering if she could have done more. So it's really simple. The plan to leverage a major games It starts now. It's not something to put on the back burner. It's not a matter of wait and see. Athletes who get the most out of the games are the ones who have a plan going in. Takes the stress out of it, it removes the pressure, and it puts the focus back on performance during the actual games. Athletes don't need to worry about what viral content to create during a games. I think it's probably a bit of a surprise to hear someone who works in athlete brands say that, but it's true, and I really believe that. They need to focus on what brought them there. So know your brand, know your communication strategy, and have a leverage plan. And don't let the story go stale. It's yours, you own it. By staying active and visible after the games, no matter your performance result, you're setting yourself up for success. You're gaining skills, you're building networks, and you are creating this pathway and journey that you can take charge of. I know that everyone wants a magic answer, but the most effective and proven one that I can give you is that it's all in the preparation. So thank you for joining me this morning. I really value the fact that you've given me 30 minutes of your morning. I know it can be a struggle to actually find that 30 minutes. I find it a struggle in my working week to attend things like this. So thank you for watching all the way through. If you've got any questions, I'll be emailing you after this, and you can contact me there. And to any athletes watching, good luck. Have a fantastic games experience. And I hope your preparations go well. Thank you, everyone. I'll send out a recording today, and if you've got any questions, you can send me an email. Have a great Wednesday.